All right. Ready to go?
Let's do it.
All right. Word up. Oh, Diego's tuning in. Thanks, buddy. All right. Let's do this. Let me wind this back. 3, 2. All right, Dave, are you ready? I got a question for you.
Let's hear it.
Okay. If you could unilaterally induct one person on the Hall of Fame ballot this year for baseball, who would you do? Who would you choose?
Can they be not eligible? Like, do they have to be eligible for the Hall of Fame?
They have to be on this year's ballot.
On this year's ballot?
Yeah.
I mean, I think the closest for his career was Schilling, but everyone hates him. So I would do. I don't know. That's a tough one. I mean, this isn't a great ballot. I still think people should have gotten in. I think it's absurd to have no one get in.
I mean, the easy answer is Bonds.
Because I think Bonds.
He's trending that way. He and Clemens are trending that way. But next year's the last year on the ballot, so I guess we'll see. Schilling came the closest. For those who don't know what we're talking about, the Hall of Fame inductions for Major League Baseball got announced today. This is Tuesday, and nobody got in. I think that happened, 7 years ago too? Nobody got in. I agree with you, though. I think it's absurd. I think there's people on this ballot who should have gotten into the Hall of Fame. My pick would actually – I'm between two people. I'm between Billy Wagner and Andruw Jones because I feel like both of them deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. Neither of them I don't think are ever going to get there. Maybe Wagner. I feel like he got a big boost this year. I don't know if you follow Ryan Thibodeau on Twitter. He does the tracker for all the ballots. He's very, very good. And he's usually spot on as to who's going to get in and whatnot because he's going to get all the ballots. Some people don't make them public. But Billy Wagner's been trending in the right direction, but I'm not sure if he's ever going to get across that 75% threshold. That being said, neither was Andruw Jones. I don't think he's even going to get close, but I think Andruw Jones is a Hall of Fame level player.
Yeah, I mean, the question is, was his peak long enough? I think for Jones. I'm not sure it was. He played a long time. I'm just not sure the peak was long enough to justify to writers. I just think I think there was 14 blank ballots. That's just absurd. Like if you leave your ballot blank, you don't vote anymore. That's ridiculous.
It's absurd. It's absurd. Emily says hello to the crowd. Hello. You waved. I don't know what you want me to do. Okay, there we go. No, I Diego says he would have gone for Manny Ramirez, which he's almost surprised that no one got in. I'm not too surprised. Again, I would really recommend if you like this kind of stuff, go follow Ryan Thibodeau. I think it's not Mr. Tibbs at not Mr. Tibbs on Twitter. He's incredible at this kind of stuff. So if you like this kind of stuff and you're invested in kind of the year-round kind of worldview of it, then follow him. But I like Manny. I just think Manny has a couple of things that he did during his career, allegedly, that are going to prevent him from ever being inducted. But if he didn't do those things, he would, I think, be a very, maybe not first ballot, but he'd be up there as far as selections. So that's.
I just think overall, like, I understand what people are doing. Like, if you're connected to steroids or HGH or anything that enhances your performance, you're going to have a tough time getting in. But we can't guarantee that the people that are already in didn't use that stuff. So, right. I mean, it doesn't seem realistic to me to be like, oh, Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens and Manny and Andy Pettitte, like, those guys can't get in now because they're connected to that. Like, that's just like, it's a glass house. I don't understand that.
I mean, I'm not sure Andy Pettitte's a Hall of Famer anyway, even if HGH was. I know.
Yeah.
I know. But I hate to keep going back to it. He is kind of like my I just kind of like hit on him every single time. But if Mike Mussina's in the Hall of Fame, there's a lot of guys who belong in the Hall of Fame. And let's be real. Mike Mussina's in the Hall of Fame because of the hat he wore for half his career. Like, let's be real here. That's the reason he's in the Hall of Fame. Like, that's not the same reason, but there's a reason why Eli Manning will be a Hall of Fame quarterback. we all know what it is. You could say it's the Super Bowl passes, but we all know what it is. Like, come on, let's be real here.
No, if you look at the ballot too, there's not that many people in here that everyone liked. Like, there's a lot of people in here that were pretty thoroughly hated or disliked throughout their career. Like, there are some good guys. Like, there's Dan Herron, who everyone likes. I'm pretty sure Mark Burley was a really good teammate. Everyone liked him. But, like, there's a lot of guys that had a lot of issues with the teammates or the press along the way, like Kurt Schilling, Gary Sheffield, Sammy Sosa. I mean, Roger Clemens, Barry Bonds hated the media. Everyone hated it.
All due respect to Dan Herron, great Twitter follow. Why is he on the ballot?
You get put on the ballot. I forget what the circumstances, but then if you get less than 1%, you don't get put back on.
No, I know that.
But
I think was it this year or last year that Bobby Abreu just missed getting kicked off the ballot? I think it might have been last year.
It was last year, yeah.
He just missed getting kicked off. I mean, he's not a Hall of Famer, but good career. He had a good career. I think he was just never the best at what he did. That was the issue. I mean, great longevity. I think he won a World Series with the Yankees, I know he at least won a World Series. I can't remember what team he won it with though. Was it the Yankees? Was he with the Phillies too?
I think he won it with the Phillies. Didn't he?
Yeah, I couldn't remember when he went to the Yankees. I do remember that weird phase where he was with the Yankees, though.
Yeah. I just think too often people get carried away with the Hall of Fame, and it's like everyone can't get in. It's not the Hall of Very Good or Good. It's the Hall of Fame. Like, we need to
tell it to Mike Messina.
Yeah, we need to separate them. Like, basketball does the worst job that everyone gets in. Like, if you average 15 points a game for 15 years, you get in. And it's like, okay, very good player, but not Hall of Famer.
Like, I'm not too averse in the well-versed rather in the Hockey Hall of Fame, but as far as I'm concerned, the hardest one to get into is probably football. That one's a tough one to get into. I feel like it's the exclusive club, and they kept Terrell Owens out for too long. Like, come on now, like let's get real here. But that actually has nothing to do with our topic today. But they are both entertainment related, so I guess that counts, right? We're talking about the best TV seasons today, Dave. And what we were originally going to do is just come with our own lists of TV seasons, but then Emily had the idea, maybe inadvertently, but had the idea that we should just go through the shows and say our favorite seasons instead, which is probably a better idea. Definitely a better idea. Usually if Emily has an idea that we don't have, it's probably the better idea.
Usually the right call.
Usually the right call. Yeah.
That wasn't my idea.
It was. You didn't. I don't think you registered, but you did give me the idea yesterday. Yeah. Yeah. Congratulations.
Oh my God.
What happened?
Dan Herron just tweeted about the Hall of Fame, and he said, according to Twitter, I was not elected to the Hall of Fame. They will tell me I'm taken off the ballot next year, but I'd like to first announce that I myself am removing myself from next year's ballot and going forward.
He's a funny guy. See, that's a funny guy right there.
He's
I like that.
Oh yeah, he is.
Did he didn't get a vote, did he? Like, I don't think anybody voted for him. Right?
No, he got 0%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's not surprising. Shout out Dan Herron though. If you want to come on the podcast, you're more than welcome. Just don't listen to any old episodes of the podcast before you come on, because you might find this one. Anyway, Dave, best TV seasons. So we have a Google Doc here of shows we're going to go through, and we're just going to rip off, our favorite seasons. Usually those are the ones, in my opinion, have the most amount of great episodes in them. So some shows I haven't seen. I think you've seen every show on this list, maybe except for a couple, but there's a few I haven't seen. So I'll be relying on you for some of those. And it's interesting that I say that because our first one is 24, a show I'd never seen, but ran for like 1,000 seasons. So, Dave, what's the best season of 24?
So the best season, 24, kind of goes down the drain after season 5. 7 isn't bad. 6 and 8, not that good. And the new season that came out with half a season, I should say, not good either. Season 5 is the best season. It's one of the best seasons of TV I've seen. It's just nonstop action, heart-pounding, original script. After that, they kind of just keep copying the same thing. But season 5, I thought, was the strongest. They have a lot of character deaths, which is important for a show like that, where they keep constantly trying to keep the storyline fresh. And it really made you feel like the stakes were really high. So for me, 24 season 5 was one of the best.
You bloodthirsty monster. I have no idea. Whatever the one where Jack Bauer says that thing about I'm sorry. Jack Bauer, the cat, is in It's Always Sunny. Never mind. I got nothing on this one. So that's all I got. I didn't watch 24. Never been a big fan, but you know what? Dave likes it. So speaking of shows I've never seen, American Horror Story. Dave, how many of these have you seen?
I actually haven't seen the full series of this.
I haven't seen a single episode of it.
I think I skipped 2 or 3 seasons. I didn't finish the hotel season. I hated that one. I didn't watch Roanoke, and I didn't watch.
I've heard from people who do watch it. I've heard Roanoke is the worst one, like by far.
I thought the carnival one was the worst. I wanted to like gouge my eyes out. I hated it so much.
I think it was when Emily was looking at the list. I think she said American Horror Story. Just watch the first season and don't bother with anything else.
There's a few good ones, but season 1 is definitely the best. And even the first season, to me, like they should have ended it 1 episode early. The last episode was just so pointless.
It seems like that's the theme with Ryan Murphy shows. Like the first season, worth it. Everything else after that, don't really bother.
And he doesn't really know how to end things.
No, he does not.
Yeah, things are not good.
Nah, they're not. I don't know what it is, but Ryan Murphy, check him out. We'll put a link in the description. Anyway, moving on to Arrested Development. Dave, you haven't seen Arrested Development, right?
I know the bare minimum. I haven't really seen it now.
The bare minimum, huh?
I know the money is in the Banana Shack or whatever.
Banana Stand. Thank you. So there are 5 seasons. This is one of my favorite shows ever. I have not seen the 5th season. I almost refuse to watch it. I almost don't even consider it canon. The 4th season they released on Netflix when it got bought. Everybody was so stoked because the show ended prematurely. Fox canceled it midway through the 3rd season, and Netflix picked it up for a 4th season. And they, Diego said watch season 1, and from there I said I'm never again watching this show. I think he's talking about American Horror Story, which again puts him in lockstep with everybody else. But Arrested Development, season 4 sucked. It wasn't good. I mean, they released it in character by character episodes instead of a narrative, so it was really hard to follow. It wasn't that funny. And then it was so bad they recut it as a regular season and released that, and that was fine. But the first 3 seasons are really all you need to watch for Arrested Development. Don't bother with season 4 or season 5. I don't care. I don't consider them canon, like I said. But the best season is probably season 1. Season 2 has a lot of great stuff in it, but season 1 being introduced to the Bluth family, I think that's probably the best one. So that would be my recommendation. If you do watch Arrested Development, you could probably bang it out in a weekend. It's just 20-minute episodes, 2.5 seasons, all on Netflix, and then don't bother with season 4 or 5. Dave, this one's for you, Barry. I think there's only 2 seasons, right?
Yeah, I know Bill Hader was on, I think it was Seth Meyers, because they're friends from their SNL days. But Barry finished season 2 a while ago. Season 3 was about to be filmed when the pandemic obviously broke out, and they still haven't filmed it, but he wrote season 3 and 4. So I think there's a solid chance that they just film 2 seasons in a row, and that we get maybe the 3rd season, and then maybe a 2-month break, and then the next season. But I think season 2 was even better than season 1, and I loved season 1. I thought season 2 was absolutely nuts, and it was really, really good. It's really a very unique show. The concept is just very strange, which it's not as strange now because everyone seems to be copying it, but it's a really fun show. I think it's very dark, a dark comedy, but it's fun.
It's been on my list. I remember when I told you my list of stuff to watch was the new season of Curb, which I watched, The Boys, which we'll get to in a second, and then Barry was on that list too. So Barry might be the next thing I check out, because you've said nothing but good things about it, and that's really all I've ever heard is great things about Barry. So I also love Bill Hader. I've heard this NoHo Hank fella is a real interesting character. So yeah, I'll check it out. I'll put it on my list. I just binged all of Titans, so while I wait for season 3 of that, I'll check out Barry. Next up, Dave, is Better Call Saul. It's funny, I added this one, but I've never seen any of the episodes. This one's mainly for you. There's 4 seasons, and the 5th one is going to be the last one, much like Breaking Bad, the show from which it came. So what of the first 4 seasons do you consider the best?
I think the most recent season is the best. I thought one of the most recent seasons, or the most recent season, I mean, had one of the best episodes I've ever seen. It was just like really, really tense. And I think I'm very excited to see how it ends. Like Gus is involved, Mike's involved, obviously Saul. It's just a really, really interesting show. It's a very slow burn. Like the first few seasons are kind of just setting everything up, developing the characters. This last season was like the most intense one yet, and it was well worth it. It's such a good show. It's well written, obviously, lots of great portrayals and symbolism. It's really, really well done. It's such a smart show. It's the kind of show that all the critics will love, like, because they'll be like, oh, look at the symbolism and the deep meaning behind this and the value of the shadows. And it's like, all right, cool. But I still think it's a show that like a person that just wants to watch something and not like look for a deeper meaning in like a cigarette and an ashtray, like you can still enjoy it.
Is it like Breaking Bad where every season's been better than the last?
I do think every season has been better, but I don't think it's to the degree of Breaking Bad. Like they're both dramas, but they're different dramas. Like Breaking Bad had a much more like sharp and had a much sharper bite to it. This I think it's just a much slower burn.
Gotcha. Next up is The Boys, which has only had 2 seasons. It's on Amazon Prime. So really, it's which season do you like better, season 1 or season 2? I'm more partial to season 2. They did a great job with the origin story in season 1, and it's a fantastic narrative that they spin. I just think I like season 2 a lot better, and there's another show coming up, similar, another superhero show that I like season 2 better because, yes, season 1 establishes their origin better, but there's a lot more action in season 2. But The Boys season 2 I like a lot better. I think it has more consistent action, kind of a more of a mystery to play out in your head, some real jaw-dropping moments, and a great hateable villain in Stormfront. I mean, you hate Homelander so much in season 1, and then you end up just despising Stormfront that much more in season 2. So I'm really looking forward to see where they go with season 3. I think they're just starting filming it now. I know what's his name, Jack Quaid, posted on Instagram. He was going out to do some work on it. So it looks like they'll be getting that down soon. Maybe we'll get that later this year, early next year, something like that. But I'm stoked for the return. I'm not sure about it. I think you were nodding when I said season 2, but they're both fantastic seasons. I really have loved The Boys so far.
Yeah, I love it. It's another show where I think the next season was better than the first, and I think pretty easily too. Like I thought season 2 was much better than the first one, and that's not saying the first one isn't good. It's just I think the origin stories are fun, and it's good to introduce the characters and learn about them. It's important for a show to have that as a baseline and a foundation. But I think that the second season was like the last episode was insane. It was just insane. So much stuff happened the whole season, and they, like you said, they do a really good job of making you feel a certain way for the characters. Like they make you want the characters to survive or die or hate them or love them, and I think when you do that, the show becomes really successful.
That's very astute. Look at that, Dave, the TV brain right here. Dave, next up, speaking of Breaking Bad, is Breaking Bad. This is incredibly difficult because all 5 seasons are great. I mean, season 1's good. It's maybe not on the level of the next 4, but 2 through 5 are some of the best television I've ever seen. As much as I want to say season 5, I'm going to say season 4. I think the storyline with Gus Fring and how it all culminates in the end with Face Off, it's remarkable. I mean, it is some of the best storytelling on TV that I've ever seen. And I don't like when people do this with shows like Succession or Game of Thrones, but like if you haven't seen Breaking Bad, like if you like dramas, you need to see it. Like it's a run, don't walk scenario. Like it's not for everybody, but if dramas and gritty dramas are your kind of thing, I don't see a way you can't like the show. And season 4 is the pinnacle of that.
Yeah, I agree. I was debating it, but it's really, to me, it comes down to similar to superhero movies and shows. How good is the villain? And Gus Fring is just so. He's like the most unique villain I've seen in a long time because he's so well liked, but also hated at the same time. And I think that's such a unique aspect that I think the payoff for that, which spans 2 seasons, is much greater than even the finale, which obviously is an incredible payoff and well done.
I mean, just think of how season 4 starts with Box Cutter. Like, it's a whole episode where Gus does not say a word till the last line of the episode, and then you have to connect that line from they are terrified of this man. What are they gonna do? And you have to connect that dot to they're gonna kill him. Like, they have to figure out a way to do this. And this is the season where Walt poisons Brock. Like, probably the most despicable thing anyone's done on TV. I mean, at least on a network drama or something like that, but real messed up. And when they zoom in on the plant at the end of the episode, it's just like you give up on Walt after he lets Jane die. Like, that's when you give up on him. Like, he is lost at that point, but you really don't think he can sink lower. And then he poisons a kid. Like, just such one of the worst anti-heroes on TV was Walter White, no doubt about it.
And even then, like, when you think about it, you're trying to compare both seasons, because to me, I would go 4, but I wouldn't blame someone for picking 5. When you look at 5, like, you have Ozymandias, Granite State, and Felina all in a row. It's
gliding overall. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, how do you even top that? But yet somehow season 4, it's just the stakes to me. Like, that's what separates it. Like, I think if we're talking about episodes, to me, Ozymandias is maybe the best episode I've ever seen on TV.
Yeah.
But when you look at it, like, the stakes of Gus, what happens with him is like, there's nothing bigger in that whole show.
WW. What do you think that means? Woodrow Wilson? Willy Wonka?
Walter White?
You got me.
That's such a great
scene when he realizes it on the toilet.
On the toilet reading.
It's so good. I really do like season 5 a lot. There are a lot of I feel like there are more great moments in season 5, but season 4 has the better overall narrative. So that's
also, I mean, how great is that quote? You're the smartest man I ever knew. Can't you see he made up his mind 5 minutes ago?
You're too stupid to see. Made up his mind.
The absolute best line ever.
Do what you gotta do.
It's just such a great.
We literally have done a whole episode on Breaking Bad, so go check that out in Castbox archives because it's episode 30 something. Dave, curb your enthusiasm. I've said this before. It's really down to 2 seasons for me. I don't know them by the numbers. I know them by the themes. And for me, it's either the producers or the Seinfeld reunion. Like, those are my 2 favorite seasons of Curb. The hardest I've laughed at the show are those 2 seasons. And it's tough. I really want to go the Seinfeld reunion season, but I feel like the producers one had more laughs to it. And you know how I feel about Jason Alexander. So giving him props for something is very difficult. So I'm going to go with the producer season, but I don't know about you. What's your favorite? I know you love the Mocha Joe season. I know you do.
I love that season just because I think it's like such a great example of who this man is. It's just like, he's filled with spite and like random hatred, but also like a burning desire to do nothing but top other people. And
and I love how he inspires other celebrities to do it too. Jonah Hill, Mila Kunis, Sean Penn opens up a spice store. It's so good, but it really is just kind of it is incredible how it's just like, this is just how this man is. Like, you just have to deal with it. Like, this is who he is. He's gonna keep getting worse. Like, it's just how it is. And the producer season, what gets me the most is that he gives him an ultimatum. Ben Stiller gives him an ultimatum, me or Larry, and he chooses Larry. And obviously it's because he wants the thing to fail, like the real show. But it ends up being a hit, and David Schwimmer comes on and saves it. And it's funny because I don't like David Schwimmer at all, but he doesn't actually do that bad in this his fleeting appearances in this season. So I like the producer season, but which one are you going to settle with?
I would go with the Seinfeld season,
Hmm.
just because I think you get like an added bonus of having an actual Seinfeld reunion in there. So I think that kind of separates it for me. But there's a lot of good ones like season 6, season 3. The only one I didn't really like was the Fatwa season.
Yeah.
I just did not like that season.
No, that one doesn't seem to be a favorite of many people's. Yeah, so Curb Your Enthusiasm. Check it out. Next up is one for me, Daredevil. So there were 3 seasons of it. Should be more. Disney Plus. Kevin Feige, if you're listening right now, I know you love the pod. If you're listening, you should revive Daredevil with the original cast. So I would probably say season 2 of Daredevil's my favorite. It's tough because all 3 are really good. This was what I was alluding to with The Boys. Like the origin of season 1, the origin of Matthew Murdock is great, but we don't see him suit up as Daredevil till the finale. So it's great. It builds up very, very well. But season 2, he's in the suit the whole time. We get the Punisher who gets involved in that season, and it's just so much more action, and I love it. I love season 2 of Daredevil, but I would probably say 2, 3, and 1 is how I'd rank them. Season 3 was fantastic. He's out of the suit. He kind of like gives it up. It's like a redemption arc for him. It has to do with The Defenders, which is a show I never watched, but probably should have, I guess, but I didn't. Yes, thank you, Diego. Daredevil should have at least 10 seasons. Seasons 2 and 3 are amazing. Yes, they are. This guy knows what he's talking about. This guy gets it. This guy gets it. This guy gets it. But yeah, no, I loved season 2 the most. Season 3, close second. And season 1's great too, but I would put it third on the list, which is foreshadowing for another 3-season show that we'll get to in a little bit. Dave, here's one for you. Dexter. And earlier on Twitter, Oliver Martell of the Small State Big Takes podcast, a friend of the podcast, said that season 4 better be discussed. Is that your pick?
That is indeed my pick. That is the best season of Dexter.
Is that the one with the Vertigo killer or the Triad killer? What is it?
Trinity Killer.
Trinity Killer. Thank you.
John Lithgow.
Yeah.
But
excuse me, Lord Farquaad from Shrek, I believe is what you mean to say.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, to me, it's one of the best seasons of TV I've seen, period. Not just in Dexter. It's just on your edge nonstop. It feels it's just a huge rush the whole way through. You have no idea what's going to happen, and then you think you know what's going to happen, and they throw a curveball, and the ending is just like, whoa! I cannot believe that just happened. And
spoiler to everybody out there. I think I know what it is. Spoiler if you haven't seen Dexter and you really want to, you should probably mute this for the next few seconds. Doesn't he kill his wife or something?
His wife dies. Yeah, in the bathtub.
Yeah, his wife dies, right? And is it John Lithgow that kills her, or is it somebody else? Yeah.
Yep.
Well, there you go. Is that the finale?
That's the last scene you see, basically.
So he doesn't catch him in this season.
No, he kills Lithgow, but he had already gotten to his wife.
Oh, I gotcha. Does he kill him like how he usually kills him, or does he just like kill him quick?
He kills him like he usually does.
So he's he tortures him, doesn't he?
He does a little bit, but he kills him pretty fast.
That's I guess that's a real nice guy.
He caught him on the way of leaving the state, and then he thought like he saved everyone, and he went home and his wife was in the bathtub and blood died. That's
brutal. That's tough.
Yeah.
Emily's not seeing Dexter. But that's awful. I mean, I would definitely understand it more if I had seen the show, I guess. But
even if you wanted to watch it, it's still a great season.
Were there any spoilers in what you just said, or can I just think I can just watch it without any concern?
I think you can watch it and not even know what happened.
Okay, so I need to know that I don't think that guy's the killer, and we don't know what happens to his wife. So I guess I'll forget what I just heard. Anyway, Everybody Loves Raymond is up next, Dave. A favorite show of ours. We discussed a little off air. I don't think I could name to you the seasons specifically. Everybody Loves Raymond, but I certainly watched enough of it on TV Land to understand what episodes I like, which ones I don't. I would say I like season 5 a lot. I think season 5 is the one with where they drive the car into the house, which is a classic. They go to Italy to kick off the season. Great 2-parter. Robert meets Stefania. Great character, I think. The dad hates him. and then Ray and Deborah kind of rekindle their romance. It's very sweet. But yeah, I think season 5 is good. I really like any of the first like 3 or 4 seasons of the show. We talked off air, but like Peter Boyle starts to kind of lose it a little bit down the line. But really the first few seasons of the show are really good. I think it's, as we discussed with Patrick Monahan, check out episode 201. I think it's an underrated show. I like it a lot.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. I think the earlier seasons are better. I think maybe after the first season, but before like season 5 or 6, like that 2 through 4 is kind of the sweet spot. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a funny show. Like it's not going to win awards, not going to be the top show of all time, not even the top sitcom, maybe not even the top 5, but it's still like such an enjoyable show, and it's kind of like mindless. Like you just turn it on and it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like this is really good. I would go maybe any of those early seasons, like 2 through 4, I'd say.
Yeah, I'd say so. That's probably a good choice. Next up, Dave, a personal favorite of ours. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. This is a tough one. I was going through the shows we were going to talk about with Emily last night, and I got to It's Always Sunny, and I was like, I said probably 4 or 5 different seasons, but I think I'm going to settle on season. I'm trying to remember the exact. Yeah, season 4, which is it ends with The Night Man Cometh, which is one of the best episodes of the show. Period. It begins with Mac and Dennis Manhunters, which I absolutely love. It has one of my favorite line deliveries in the entire show. When they're telling Cricket they're going to hunt him, and he goes, well, what happens if I get caught? And they cut him off. And they just go, and Mac goes, like, ooh, don't get caught. Don't get caught. Just the way he says it is so funny. And then he turns the tables because he's actually like really good at defending himself and getting away from situations. He's very acrobatic. It's got the gas crisis episode. The gang solves the gas crisis. I think it's the most jam-packed season of them all. It's a tough call for me because I love season 5. I love season 3. Season, I'm trying to remember which one it is. It might be 10 or something like that. It has its highlights, but I think if you were going to ask me what my favorite was, I think I would settle on season 4.
I would be between 4 and 5, and I would go with 5. I mean, okay. I would go 4 rather.
Okay.
I just think it has a lot to offer. The Night Man Cometh. Sweet D has a heart attack. The gang solves the gas crisis. Like, I just love all those episodes, and it has the added bonus of having one of the best, most memeable images of all time, with Charlie against the whiteboard with all the strings.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's like one of the top posted memes of all time.
Pepe Sylvia. Everybody's talking about Pepe Sylvia. Yeah, no, it's I love season 4, but season 5 definitely has highlights to it, like the World Series defense. I love the World Series defense. The gang hits the road. The recession episode's very good. They're eating at Dave and Buster's, and Frank is like, cut out the steak dinners. Like, we're not cutting out the steak dinners, Frank. It's not happening. Season 5 is also the intervention episode, right?
Yes, and it's the dentist system too. That's the first.
The dentist system. The is the Dennis Reynolds and Erotic Life is season 5 too, right?
Yes.
This guy came in here talking about memoirs and Sinbad. Rob Thomas. Ooh.
What season was? I think it was season maybe 9 was when Dennis sells the Range Rover, or it's like a finisher car and it's in the water.
Yeah. I can't remember.
I think that was
season that is. It might be like, I mean, they all run together towards the later end. Maybe like season 10. That might have been season 10. I'm not sure. Because it's The Gang Misses the Boat is the name of the episode, but I can't remember. Because they missed the boat and Dennis just tried to drive the car into the ocean or into the water. Like, it's not gonna work. Oh man, it's so good. It's so good. Anyway, check it out. It's Always Sunny. Next up is King of Queens. Another show that I'm sure will have people hitting that skip 30 seconds button on the episode. I'm an unabashed King of Queens fan. I like King of Queens a lot. I know you do too, Dave. So I'm proud. I'm proud that we both embrace it. I like the earlier seasons better. It loses its fastball down the line. A lot of shows do, but I think probably my favorite season is probably season 2 or 3. I like the early seasons a lot. I don't know. I just think it just has, like I said, more on the fastball early on. It kind of loses its grip a little bit as it goes along. So I would probably lean seasons 2 or 3. It's hard to pick because they're both pretty similar, but why not? I'll say season 3.
I'll go with season 3 as well. I believe that's when we see Bryan Cranston as well as the
I think you're
neighbor.
right. Yeah.
Saxy. That's really
Yeah.
fun. Kind of like if people thought he was sackless and Malcolm in the Middle, wait until you see him in King of Queens.
He's pretty much playing the same character as he
Even
is now.
worse because there's no one pushing around. He's just a pushover.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
It's a good season. If you liked Everyone Loves Raymond, you would like King of Queens and vice versa. But if you don't like either, if you don't like one, you probably wouldn't like the other. So use that as a guardrail.
Yeah, I would say they're pretty similar, except like one's definitely more deadpan. Like one's more like King of Queens is way more slapstick, and Raymond way more deadpan. Like they're really opposite forms of humor, but they really are the same show if you think about it. Like they're pretty much the same show.
They basically base their show around the fact that parents are tough and they bust in at weird times and offer weird solutions and problems.
Or live with you, basically.
Yes.
Arthur Spooner, the straw that stirs the drink, that is King of Queens.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, Jerry Stiller is right. Absolutely. Although shout out Victor Williams, Deacon Palmer. Love Deacon Palmer. I think he's really an underrated character on the show.
Great.
I love Deacon too. He's so good. All right. Moving on, Dave, to The League, a show I only recently watched and binged. I think this answer for me is simple. It's season 1. Season 1's the best season in The League. It's the hardest I laughed at the show. And it doesn't go downhill from there every year. It has ups and downs after that. But I think season 1 is decisively the best one.
I think it gets decisively worse after 3.
Yeah.
So I would be willing to accept any answer in the top 3, I would say. I would probably go with 2, but I'm not sure. I could see 1 or 2, and then I think 3 is third. But I just think the ironic thing is it gets less and less about fantasy football the longer it goes on, and more about just like a sitcom with like a bunch of guys and one wife. It's a very funny, weird dynamic between all of them because they're all very, very different people, but also the same at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good show. I mean, like you said, the first 3 seasons are, there's no question that they're pretty damn funny. I mean, the humor is not for everybody, but it just hit me right, and I found it pretty funny. I think Ruxin, it's a very good character. Nick Kroll, great. Mark Duplass, did not expect him to be as funny as he was, quite honestly, but he's got some chops. He's just very deadpan. That's kind of his thing. But yeah, so it's a really good show. I would say season 1. I know you kind of lean season 2, but The League, watch the first 3 seasons and then just don't bother with the rest of it. That would be our advice from Crossing State Lines. Next up, Dave, is Monk. You guys can just hit that 30-second skip if you want, like 5 times probably, because we're going to talk about this one. This is tough. This is really tough.
Well, we can rule out season 8.
Yeah, it's good, but it's not the best.
Which, other than the finale, is not as good.
So I'll try to narrow it down. I think I like Natalie more than I like Sharona.
I definitely do. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can rule out like the first 2 seasons right there. I like the first therapist more than the second.
Yep, I'm with you.
Rest in peace, by the way. He passed away. Stanley what?
Stanley Camel.
Stanley Camel. Mike, look at this guy with the names. It's a USA show. Dave knows it. If TV Trivia tomorrow was all USA shows, I don't even have a chance. I don't even stand a chance. But I suspect it won't be because we're the only people that like them. But not only people. Shout out Billy D and Dr. Joe at the Heard It Both Ways podcast. They love Psych too. They're our brothers. They love it.
Great podcast. Everyone check it out.
Right. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Check it out. Anyway, we'll get to Psych in a little bit. But Monk, I would probably say, I'm just going to throw season 4 out there. I feel like season 4 is really where it starts to hit its stride. All the episodes are, I mean, unless they pertain to the Trudy arc, they're all pretty much the same. There's kind of the same formula. There's a case, they can't figure it out. They bring in Monk, he figures it out, and that's how it goes. But I would probably say probably like season 4 is probably where it hits its stride. Yeah, that's my pick.
Yeah, the first 3 tie in heavily to solving the Trudy case, and then for some reason they decide that they're not going to really even acknowledge that that's a thing for like 4 more years. But certain episodes like are really funny, are really well done. Like the one where he goes to Mexico is very interesting and has a lot of funny parts. I personally think the best overall episodes are probably either 3 or 4. 4 I would lean towards because they have the jury duty. They have what's the last one? Goes to prison. They just have a lot of really unique ones and ones that really kind of you see how good of an actor Tony Shalhoub is, which I think is nice. So I would go with 4 as well because you kind of get all that stuff in one and some really good episodes.
Yeah, it's a great season. Check it out, Monk. Who doesn't love it? Probably a lot of people. Next up, Dave, is The Office, a show that I may have seen once or twice. This is tough. This is real tough. I will probably. Oh man, this is brutal. I will probably lean season 3 of The Office. I like season 2. It's really between 2 and 3, although I do love 4, even though it was shortened by the strike. I think season 3 is stronger overall than season 2. Like season 2 might have better episodes, like the injury and the Dundies, but I think overall season 3 has the stronger, more consistent crop of episodes. But it's tough. It's a real toss-up. I also like season 5 a lot, but I wanted the pop culture pile driver to talk about season 5. It's a great season. A little underrated maybe, but season 3, I would say by a nose, is better than season 2.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I would go season 3 as well. I think 2 is good. I think 4 is good. 1 I'm not a huge fan of. I just don't like the way they portray Michael Scott. It's a little too dark, I think. And I don't like 7 or 8 really, or 9. I think 9 has the finale is like extremely well done. I really enjoy it. And I do like Robert California as a character. We both, I think, like him as a solid piece, not like the star, but a solid piece. And but I would be with you. I think 3 is probably the best, and then I'd probably lean maybe 4 and then 2. But those are the top 3 for me.
I would go 3, 2, and then probably I might actually go 5 and then 4 because 4 is just a little too short, and some of the early episodes, other than Fun Run, are a little bit of a slog. But a slog, like pulling a car out of a lake. Think of it that way. That would probably be my ranking. Quick sidebar, actually, a show I forgot to put on the list. Dave, what about The Blacklist? What's your favorite season of The Blacklist?
Oh man, I don't remember what season it was. I'm gonna have to look it up. But
I don't even. I could just text my mom. Don't even bother.
It's
I kid you not. She's told me, she's like, I've rewatched this series like 7 times, and I'm like, wow, that's like more times than I've rewatched The Office, probably. Or no, maybe not The Office, but Seinfeld. That's definitely more than I've rewatched Seinfeld.
There's a lot of episodes too.
Yeah, there are, and they're hour-long episodes.
They are, yeah, like they're 40 something minutes because they're on NBC. I think it's season 3, the one I'm thinking of, where she goes on the run, kind of.
Oh, okay. Is that the one? I only know this because it was on at my mom's the other day. It was on at my parents'. Is that the one where she gets framed and put in jail?
No, she actually did this.
Oh, okay. Because I know there's one where my mom said she gets framed for like really, really heinous acts, and then she gets released, but she's still a convicted felon, so she loses her agent status for a while. But that's all I got on The Blacklist. So, yeah.
It's a good show if anyone's looking for it. Season 3, I think, is the best season.
Shout out to my mother and my dad. They both love the show a lot. Going back to The Office briefly, Diego City would say season 2. That's also a fantastic pick. I can't argue that. It's a great season. I burned my foot, Dave.
I love that part. Oh,
it's great.
that's one of my favorites.
Sneaky, one of my favorite parts of that episode is when he says, "What if Stevie Wonder fell in that bathroom?" And Phyllis, without missing a beat, goes, "Oh no, we love Stevie Wonder." All right, Dave. Parks and Recreation is up next. I'll let you go first. What would you say? Let's put it this way: it's not seasons 1 or 2, and it's not season 7.
I would go with 4.
Yeah.
It's, to me, honestly, I'm not sure. I think obviously season 1 is not my favorite, and it's not season 7. So,
or season 2, really.
Yeah, season 2 isn't great, but I can understand 2 more than if you pick 1 or 7. I can't help you.
So, like, I forgive them in season 3 for letting go of Mark Brandanowitz. Like, I know he was the best character on the show, but I feel bad that they had to get rid of him. Just kidding, he was terrible. But
he's the worst character.
Yeah, probably the best additions to a TV show in the history of the small screen is Rob Lowe and Ben Wyatt. It's his character, Adam Scott. Yeah. Would a depressed person make this? That is, yeah, I think I gotta go with season 4. As much as I want to go with season 3 because of the Harvest Festival, it's a great plot and a great story, a great narrative to tell throughout the season. I mean, season 4 has the comeback kid. It has win, lose, or draw. If Bobby Newport we meet, he's one of the best side characters in the show. I mean, I think it's got to be season 4. I think that's really when it hits the heights of Parks and Rec is season 4.
I agree. Season 4 for me, pretty easily. Meeting Bobby Newport, I think, is all it needs. Honestly, and you get Rob Lowe and Adam Scott. So to me, it's an easy choice.
Bobby Newport. All right, Jerry, now you're just wasting time. All right. Anyway, Dave, this one's all you. Prison Break. Never saw it.
Season 1 is one of the best seasons of TV I've ever seen. After that, it progressively just goes downhill like a car going careening off the road. But I really, really enjoy season 1. I think that is one of the best, most fulfilling, and high stakes seasons of TV I've ever seen, including Breaking Bad.
Starring the Thing from the Crossing State Lines fan cast Fantastic Four movie.
Dominic Purcell, you know it.
Dominic Purcell. Did we settle on him? Did we pick him?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. And he's not the main guy, right? It's Matthew something, right? Is the other guy?
Michael Schofield, yeah.
Michael Schofield is the guy that is like the one that was like that brooding scowl, and then the other guy is the one you're talking about.
Exactly.
Okay. See, I've never seen the show. I know it's on Fox. Dave loves Fox. Dave's a big Fox guy. 24. That's about it, I guess. But those two are good. Yeah. And for those wondering where Family Guy and The Simpsons are, sorry, there are just too many seasons. I can't really pick. Even Family Guy, a show that like I watch probably more dedicated than like I do The Simpsons. I mean, I don't really watch The Simpsons anymore. I watched it when I was younger, but I couldn't tell you my favorite season. I know that if you want that, I can consult a Simpsons expert for the podcast. Family Guy, I don't know. I love all the seasons of Family Guy, so whatever. Moving on. Let's hit up Psych, Dave. One of our favorite shows here. The winner of Best in Show against Monk. Diego asked, have we seen the Comedy Central roast of Rob Lowe? I have not seen it. Dave, have you seen it? I
have not, no.
I've heard I like those roasts. I kind of fell out of watching them for a while, but I now that Diego says it, I'll go check it out because I do like those roasts. So I'll give it a look-see. But moving on to Psych. Dave, this won Best in Show against Monk many, many moons ago. Best season of Psych. I think we could say the same as we said with Monk. The last season and the first season, we can just take off the table because those aren't the best. I like chubbier Sean. So probably one of the later seasons. Is it 7? It's 7 seasons, right?
8.
It is 8. Okay, it's 8. Yeah, it's 8. So it's 1 and 8 off the table. I would say 7's probably off the table too. I think it's between 5 and 6 for me.
I would probably go 5. because I think you want to kind of be in the middle part. It's tough because there's so many like different bookends to these seasons. Like you could go like the beginning where it's Skinny Sean, and then it's like he's kind of like in that weird phase where you start to like learn about him, but you don't. Like he has a motorcycle all of a sudden, and he has like this place where he lives, and like you don't really learn anything else about him. Like
He never rides it. He rides it like twice in the series.
The first 2 seasons he rides it twice, and then you never see it again.
Yeah, I'll lean season 4. But like those middle seasons of Psych are the best for sure. Like there are good episodes in season 1 and season 8, but I feel like it doesn't really hit its stride until season 4. I think is season 4 the one with Fairy Tale, or is that season 5?
Isn't that 5?
I think it is 5. If Fairy Tale is in season 5, yeah, it's season 5. I'm gonna change my vote season 5 then. I think season 5 is better then. I mean, Fairy Tale is one of my favorite episodes of the show, so I'm gonna lean season 5. What's your favorite season of Psych, Emily?
The one with Last Night Gus.
Oh, that's right. Is Last Night Gus in season 5?
6.
Oh man, that's actually tough then. Last Night Gus is a fantastic episode.
That's my favorite episode.
Damn, that's tough. I would go 5, 6, 4. I would say.
Yeah, Gus is episode 2, season 6.
Yeah, it's a great episode. All right, Dave. Rick and Morty. There are 4 seasons, if I'm not mistaken. Is it 4?
Yeah.
Ashamed to admit, I have not finished season 4. But now that's on HBO Max, I will do that. I think. What do you think? Because I'm torn here.
I think season 2 is probably the best. I don't know though, because the end of season 2 is kind of lame.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go season 3. I think season 3 is the best. I actually think season 2 is my number 3 ranking. Because season 1 has Total Recall, if I'm not mistaken. I love that episode. Photographer Raptor is in that episode. I think that's the one. That was my Twitter header for a long, long time for the Photography Raptor. I love Rick and Morty. It's a shame I haven't finished that 4th season, but I will. I'll get to it. Especially now it's on HBO Max. I don't have to worry about ads, so I'll check that out. I think it's on HBO Max, right?
I believe so. I know the show is. I don't know what season they're up to.
I know they have all the Adult Swim and Cartoon Network shows, so I would imagine that they at least have most of it.
Shout out Courage and Ed and Eddie.
That's right. Shout out shows indeed. But yeah, I love Rick and Morty. I would probably lean season 3.
I would go probably either 2 or 3. I don't think 1's my favorite, and 4 is not my 4. The new one was not as good, I think, as the other 3 seasons. So I would go maybe 2, 3, 1, 4.
Okay. I haven't finished season 4, so I've heard it's a little underwhelming compared to the others. So, but I will get through it. So, maybe that'll probably have to be the next thing I watch. Sorry, Barry. Next up, Dave, is a real tough one. Maybe the toughest one left, and that would be Seinfeld. So Seinfeld's one of those cases where it gets better as it goes along. I would probably go either season 4. I would say 4, 7, or 9 would probably be my picks, even though I hate the finale. But like season 9 does have the soup. Well, no, I'm sorry, that's not the Soup Nazi season, is it? That's season 7.
Soup Nazi, I believe, was.
Where's that season 9?
Season 8, wasn't it? Soup Nazi?
Season 8. I think it's season 8. So I would say either 4 or 7, because I think no. What's the one with Keith Hernandez? What season is that?
I
can find out.
And I don't know. They all blend together.
The Boyfriend, Seinfeld. There's the Keith Hernandez episode. That is season. Oh, it's season 3. I'm sorry. But yeah, I'd probably go season 3 or 4. I think those are probably right as it hits its stride, and it's great as it goes along. The later seasons are great, but I feel like that's really where it's at its pinnacle, season 3 and 4. Because season 3, like I said, you have the Keith Hernandez episodes, and the season 4 you have the contest, which is revered as one of the best episodes of maybe of all time in sitcom history. So I'm between one of those two. I will lean season 3.
I'm gonna go 4 because you get Bubble Boy, you get Joe Davola, the contest, you meet Jerry Stiller, Junior Mintz.
That's big. That's big.
Implant. They talk about breast implants, which is hilarious, and which is one of the famous gifs. They're real and they're spectacular. It's literally everything about this season makes me laugh. And I think shout out season 7. That is the Soup Nazi season, which it also has the Marble Rye and the invitations. So it's
so many classic episodes.
Yeah, there's a lot of really, really good ones. Just really, really good ones.
Dave, throwing it over to you. Another show I put on here that I have not seen. That is The Sopranos, which I believe you've seen.
Yes, I have.
So what would you say?
I would say, I mean, the best episode to me is Pinewood Barrens. I don't remember. I think that was on season 3. Let me check. But that is the best season to me, which is really weird because you don't really learn anything about like that. It's almost like a one-off. Like those don't even impact later seasons really. You think it's gonna come back, but it doesn't. It's season 3, episode 11. So I'm gonna go with that one because I think Pinewood Barrens is, if not the best episode, one of the best episodes in the entire series. But there's a lot of choices here. You could go with 6. You could go with 3. You go with 2. I'm gonna go with 3 though. I think that is the best overall season. Has the best episode.
You heard it here first, folks. Sopranos season 3. Watch it and nothing else. Dave, next up is Stranger Things. There have only been 3 seasons of the show so far, and I have gone on record saying season 2 is my favorite of this. I think when we did our Stranger Things season 3 episode in July of 2019, I said my favorite is season 2 still. Season 3 is my least favorite, but not by a lot. Or I think it's really close to season 1. People revere season 1 as like one of the best seasons in television history, and I get it. It's a great season, but I'm a little bit lower on it than most people. I think season 2 is kind of the best because we get the Steve and Dustin team up, and the new Demogorgon monsters, and our boy Bob. Shout out Bob, major rest in peace, Bob. And Will finally gets to like act a little bit, which is great. But overall, I think it's the strongest season, even if it has the Lost Sister episode that everybody despises for whatever reason. It's, I think, overall the strongest season of the show.
Yeah, I would go probably 2 is the strongest, although 1 is really, really good. Just when you first meet everyone, it's really, you don't really know what to expect. So I would say either 1 or 2. I could go either way, and then 3 is obviously the next one. But I might even go 1 because I think 2 has that episode about the sisters where you kind of just get totally thrown out of the storyline. Like it's important, I guess, because you're building kind of like a background to 11, but to me, it kind of have that placed in that part of the season really didn't make any sense to me, and it kind of throws you out of the momentum that the season has and kind of throws you for a tailspin a little bit. So I'm probably gonna go 1.
You throw me off my momentum. How's that sound? Yeah.
I mean? Do.
Nah, come on now. All right, Dave. Next up is White Collar. All you. I don't watch that show.
Jake's lying. He's a huge fan.
Big fan. I love season 3. That's the one with the one where the guy says white collar. It's a fun season.
The funny thing about it is season 3 is the best season.
Wow, that's a shot in the dark.
It's the best season. It's on, I believe it's on Hulu now. I think it might even be on Peacock, but no one has Peacock. So Hulu.
Good. No one's gonna watch it anyway.
I would say Hulu. You can find it on there. It's a really, really good show. It's witty. It's fun. It's light. It has the thrilling aspect. It has like the crime detective aspect to it. There's a lot of really fun characters. It's really easy to watch. There's only about 13 episodes per season, and I think one of them has 11, one of them has 6. So It's a very quick watch, 40 minutes each, but really good characters. And I believe they're going to reboot it eventually. So there's a lot of talk they're going to bring it back. So everyone should get on that. It's one of my favorites.
They should, as long as they get Meghan Markle back, they'll be in good shape.
That suits.
I know. All right. This one's for me. It's the X-Files. It's one of my favorite shows. I would probably say either 4 or 5. 4 has one of the most disturbing episodes of television I've ever seen. And I think there are some great one-offs in like season 6 and season 3. Actually, man, season 3 is really damn good. You know what? I'm gonna go off the beaten path here. I'm gonna say season 1 is the best season. Season 1 is excellent storytelling. Some really great episodes off the rip. Ice is an incredible episode, one of the best of the series, and it's like one of the first 5 episodes. So I would say you can't go wrong with any of the first 7 seasons till Duchovny leaves, and Robert Patrick is fine filling in as Agent Doggett, but overall it's Duchovny and Gillian Anderson's show. Like, just watch the first 7 seasons. Don't bother with the reboot. I still haven't even watched the reboot, so there's that. And Dave, last up is Veep. What was your favorite season of Veep?
Ooh, that's a good one.
I know we said with other shows that you can't go wrong, but Veep, like, you literally can't go wrong. Like, they're all fantastic seasons.
Yeah, it's so consistent. Maybe 4. When you first meet Hugh Laurie and like they just attack each other the whole time and insult each other, that's pretty funny. But it's also really funny, like when she loses, like the season after, like she's in a tailspin, she's in a rut, and like all the people are kind of scrambling, not sure what she's gonna do, and it's just like it makes everything a lot funnier. So I don't know. It's the season where Jonah has like Gary Cole working for him, and he's like in the basketball gym with the goggles on.
That's the last season, I think, isn't it?
Isn't it the second last season?
I thought it was the last season because that was the one where he's running for president. Was the last season?
He was running for Congress though the first time, I believe.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He does have them working for him when he runs for Congress. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, and Gary Cole's wearing the goggles out the basketball court, and he says something, and he's like, "All right, you're fired." And he's like, "Thank God."
He drains the shot. He drains the shot. He's like, "You're fired." Like, thank God.
It's the best character.
I think the recount season is season 5, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
I think that's probably my favorite. That's a really good season. Because you think the whole time she's going to win the recount, she ends up losing anyway. So yeah, I think I'll lean season 5. But like I said, like it is such a remarkably consistent show that you like literally just can't go wrong picking any of them. You could put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in a hat, pick one out, and that answer's fine. So that's my that's what I have to say about Veep, and I'm sticking to it. But yeah, so that is our best TV seasons discussion. Hope everybody enjoyed it. We talked about a lot of fun TV shows. Any last thoughts, Dave, on the best TV seasons discussion?
No, I mean there's just a lot of TV shows I'm sure that we didn't get to that I'm sure people are curious about. Like we didn't talk about The Wire. We haven't seen that.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Game of Thrones. We haven't seen what are some other ones?
There's a lot of show. To quote Rich Keefe of the Dork podcast, you can't watch everything. And I have not seen The Wire. I have not seen Game of Thrones. The Wire I'd like to watch at some point. I quite honestly have no interest in Game of Thrones, so don't hold your breath. Yeah, especially since how everybody loved how it ended. I'm gonna take a pass.
I have a couple of honorable mentions here. Homeland seasons 1 and 2 are really good. The Good Place season 1 was good. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, the middle seasons are really good. Americans, the last season was good. Schitt's Creek season 4 was good. And Fargo season 2, and then Watchmen season 1 was very good too. So
Watchmen season 1. What was it going up against?
That's it.
It's just the one season.
But it's a good show. People should watch it. Regina King's awesome.
What season are we on with Fargo? Was this season 3 or 4 that just came out?
4 just came out with Chris Rock.
It was not very good.
I only watched 1 episode and I really thought it was way too long.
Yikes, that's not good.
Yeah.
But season 2, great. So check that out. Dave says it's great, so it's good. Trust me, you gotta watch it. Oh, shout out Deadliest Warrior. Forgot to put that one on here. Season 2 of Deadliest Warrior, by far the best one. Great stuff. Fantastic. Long season, very incisive commentary from Deadliest Warrior. Great show. Trying to think if there's any others I missed on my end.
Early season SpongeBob.
Oh, the early season of SpongeBob, you can't beat those. Season 2, SpongeBob, blow it out of the water. No pun intended. It's great stuff. But yeah, so with that being said, Dave, where can the people? Oh wait, you know what, Dave? Before we go, let me just throw out there my Super Bowl prediction.
I knew it. Here it comes.
On target. I chose before the playoffs started. I said Kansas City, Tampa Bay. Sure enough, that's the matchup. I do regret now picking Tampa Bay though. I want to go with Tampa Bay, but now it's a win-win because if Kansas City wins, I got it right. If they lose, I was wrong, but I kind of want to see Tampa Bay win. We'll have more Super Bowl discussion next week. We'll be doing a prop bet episode with Fiesta and Chris Jones of the Chasers podcast. So we'll be doing our annual discussion of that. So stay tuned. But Dave, there was a chance that either of us would have been right yesterday. Nope, that's not right. On Sunday. But it was clear from like the opening whistle, the Bills were going to get outplayed, outcoached, out-hustled, out everything by the Chiefs. But the Bucs game was a lot more competitive.
I'm kind of mad though because, I mean, the Bills game was very clear that the Bills, for whatever reason, Sean McDermott like swallowed his confidence and his pride after the first time he went for it. Like he went for it on 4th and 3 at the 50 on the first drive, but then didn't go for it inside the red zone. Like that didn't make any sense to me. But the Packers game was even more infuriating because there was so many times they could have gotten extra points or gotten touchdowns. It's not even just the last field goal kick, which is insane. But it's just, to me, like they robbed us of another either Brady comeback or overtime game. And like that to me is just, it feels wrong.
Maybe we'll get one in a couple weeks.
That would be cool. An overtime Super Bowl. That would be cool.
Hey, it's happened before. Brady's done it and won it. So
it has. And
I would say, yeah, go ahead. Yeah. I would say the NFL God's ideal matchup.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. Like, you know what's funny? I started a new Madden franchise. There was a sale on Madden, so I bought it. It was like more than half off. So I bought it and I started a franchise. I told you I built my defense around Aaron Donald and Bobby Wagner, and they're probably two of my favorite players. Dude, I hit stick with Bobby Wagner all the time. It is so much fun. And Aaron Donald just bowls over the lineman that's tasked with having to defend him. But now I forget where I was going with this. Justin Herbert's my quarterback. He's fantastic. Oh my God. What was I going to say? Tom Brady, yada, 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 Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowl. Anyway, I won the Super Bowl my first season. It's fantastic stuff. Great team effort. But I played my season opener last night. I forced 11 fumbles.
Oh my God.
I recovered 10 of them. There was one that slipped out of bounds. I couldn't get it. But no, I don't know where I was going with that quite honestly. Oh, that's what it was. Like 3 or 4 players on my defense are from Tampa Bay. Like Carlton Davis, Levante David. I think I have Ronald Jones on offense. I think there's somebody else that I have. No, not him. Nelson Aguilar. No, he's a Raider. Same thing, Raider, Buccaneer, kind of the same deal. But yeah, they have a lot of really good young players. I wish I had Devin White on my team because I love Devin White. But so Dave, you didn't have this Super Bowl, so you have a fresh pick. I guess I could ask you at the prop bet episode too. But what are you leaning right now?
Right now, I'm leaning towards Tampa Bay because I think both offenses cancel each other out, so to speak, and I just don't trust Kansas City's defense.
It's so ironic because we talked about this we were texting about it, but like Kansas City was by far the worst defense Buffalo played in the playoffs, and it was the one that flustered them the most apparently. But on the other side of that, this is probably the best defense that Kansas City has faced in the playoffs.
Yeah, and Todd Bowles deserves another head coaching job eventually. I don't know where he's going to get it because a lot of people hold the Jets against him, but for some reason,
it's ridiculous.
He's a great coach.
You think people would have seen the Adam Gase experiment and thought, you know what, maybe it wasn't Todd Bowles' fault that this team sucked.
Yeah, and he deserves another shot like immediately because he's such a good defensive mind that he put this team, like they're so good overall, just on defense. And
yeah.
I'll tell you right now, it's not like the personnel is like amazing. Like they have Devin White, they have Jason Pierre-Paul, they have Shaq Barrett. They have a lot of weapons. They have a lot of good players, but like Antoine Winfield Jr. But like this isn't the 86 Bears. And to have the turnaround they did and play with a team that passes the ball and struggled on offense for the early part of the season and still kind of hold water and be in the top 10 for defense is pretty incredible.
Also pretty incredible that nothing to do with the Chiefs or the Steelers, the Chiefs or the Buccaneers, but how crazy is it that Houston is probably going to luck into hiring the hottest head coaching candidate on the market?
It's insane.
Like instead, like the Eagles could have gone and grabbed him, but no, they went with Frank Reich Jr., Diet Frank Reich Jr. or whatever, which is like, I just find it hysterical that they lose Frank Reich, who was obviously the engine that drove that team. And then instead of, like, they can't obviously hire him back, so they just grabbed like his offensive coordinator, thinking that would really juice them up. Like, are you kidding me? Like that team is, talk about falling apart after the Super Bowl. Like, wow, yeah, that's pretty rough.
Yeah,
getting off the beaten path here. But anyway, Dave, where can the people find you?
at David _
I'm at Jacob _ Morocco. This podcast is at CSL Podcast on Twitter. You can find us at cslpodcast.com as well. Later this week, well, tomorrow, depending on when you listen to this, Wednesday night, we have a TV trivia. I'll be taking part in that. Sean Clayton is hosting it. Dave, Jake, Steve, Scott, they'll all be there. Thursday is our Taylor Swift draft with Jess Belmosto and Jake C. of the JKLOL podcast. Dave will not be here for that, and as he said off air, that is to everybody else's benefit. That's his words, not mine. And then next week we'll have some Super Bowl prop bet stuff with the Chasers. So keep it locked, and we will see you guys later in the week. Thank you for watching, Diego, and everybody else.